celebrities, fans and friends have woken up to the heartbreaking news of Paul O'Grady's death this morning. The Radio 2 legend sadly died unexpectedly aged 67, his partner confirmed in the early hours of Wednesday morning. In a statement, his partner Andre Portasio said in his statement, "It is with great sadness that I inform you that Paul has passed away unexpectedly but peacefully yesterday evening. We ask, at this difficult time, that whilst you celebrate his life you also respect our privacy as we came to terms with this loss. He will be greatly missed by his loved ones, friends, family, animals and all those who enjoyed his humor, wit and compassion. I know that he would want me to thank you for all the love you have shown him over the years." During his career, he hosted The Paul O'Grady Show, Blind Date, and Blankety Blank, as well as ITV's multi-award-winning For the Love of Dogs. In August of 2022 he presented his final BBC Radio 2 show, having hosted the Sunday afternoon programme for nearly 14 years. 08:28 Catherine Heslop Telly and friends have lost one of the best radio presenter. Vernon Kay has described Paul O'Grady as always a joy to be around. In a tribute on Twitter, Vernon said, "Paul O'Grady was one of the nicest and kindest people I've ever met. Always a joy to be around and obviously, so much fun. He will be missed. Telly and friends have lost one of the best. R.I.P. 08:23 Catherine Heslop Paul O'Grady didn't want to bother doctors when he had a heart attack. Good Morning Britain's Susanna Reid recalled an interview with Paul O'Grady, where he opened up on suffering a cardiac arrest. Speaking about his friend and inspiration, GMB Showbiz correspondent Richard Arnold praised the presenter as a trailblazer. Richard described Paul as such a grafter despite being plagued with health issues. As he added, he was always down the tinsel mines, chipping away at every opportunity. Susanna continued, "I remember he told us about those health issues when we interviewed him on the sofa about having a heart attack, cardiac arrest and leaving it before telling a doctor, almost like he didn't want to bother anybody about it." Read more here. 08:17 Catherine Heslop Paul important role in British drag. Further heart-wrenching tributes have been paid to Paul, with Danny Beard, winner of the 4th season of RuPaul's Drag Race, describing him as the most important person in British culture for drag. Paul began his career performing as Lily Savage in the 1970s whilst working as a peripatetic care officer for Camden Council, going on to tour Northern England as part of drag duo The Playgirls. He later settled into a solo show as Savage that ran for 8 years at London's Royal Vauxhall Tavern, and made a name for himself speaking out about LGBT issues. 08:11 Catherine Heslop Paul O'Grady was a champion for the underdog. Paul was an ambassador for Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, last year joining Queen Camilla in a special one-off episode of For the Love of Dogs, to mark 160 years of the charity. The charity paid tribute to Paul as a devoted animal lover and a champion for the underdog. The organization's chief executive, Peter Lorre, said, "Battersea will forever remember Paul as a devoted animal lover with the biggest heart, who fell head over heels in love with every dog he met at our centres. Paul will always be associated with Battersea and we are truly saddened to have lost such a true friend and huge part of our charity." 07:55 Rosehill Paul O'Grady's dark humour over his own death. The TV icon was once asked how he wanted to be remembered when he died, and his response was as dry and witty as you'd expect. Speaking to The Guardian in November 2021, the comic hilariously responded to the question, "I don't care, because I won't be here." In the interview he opened up on his bad heart attack 20 years ago. He also revealed his biggest fear would have been finding a rat swimming in his toilet. Read more here. 07:42 Rosehill Paul O'Grady opened up about heartbreaking loss in final social media post. The TV and radio icon's final social media post featured him opening up about losing his pet pig, just days before he unexpectedly passed away aged 67. Paul presented Much Loved TV series For the Love of Dogs, making him well known for his love of animals. It was only 2 weeks ago that a heartbroken Paul took to social media to tell his fans he was grieving the death of one of his pet pigs, Tom Tom, publishing his final post. The hog had been diagnosed with a tumor and had to be put to sleep while Paul was away from home, performing in a production of Annie. Uploading a video of the animal to social media, Paul wrote, "Got back from a week in Newcastle playing Miss Hannigan in Annie to find that Tom Tom, one of my pigs, had been put to sleep. I knew it was coming as he'd been diagnosed with a tumor, but even so it's awful when you lose a pet." Read more here. 07:30 Rosehill Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid recall wonderfully warm and funny guy. Piers Morgan tweeted, "R.I.P. Paul O'Grady, 67. A wonderfully warm, mischievous, hilarious guy with a sublime natural talent for broadcasting and making people laugh." Susanna Reid said on Good Morning Britain, "He was so funny and so compassionate and so loving." 07:29 Rosehill human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell hails Paul O'Grady for being a much-admired campaigner. Human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell said, "Paul wasn't just a brilliant comedian and broadcast personality but a much-admired campaigner for LGBT+ equality and animal rights. He supported my work for many decades and was a valued patron of the Peter Tatchell Foundation. Paul was planning to lead our forthcoming campaign for the police to apologize for their historic persecution of the LGBT+ community. We will miss him. Our sincere condolences to his partner Andre and to all who loved him. Paul was one of the loveliest people you could ever meet. Everyone whose lives he touched will miss him greatly, as will those who enjoyed his wit and admired his compassion." 07:28 Rosehill Lorraine Kelly and Carol Vorderman pay tribute to a special man. Fans and peers of the presenter paid their respects, calling him witty, compassionate and kind. ITV presenter Lorraine Kelly described O'Grady as a really special man in an online tribute. "Such sad news. Paul O'Grady, funny, fearless, brave, kind and wise," she said. "Will be sorely missed. A really special man." Carol Vorderman tweeted, "Paul O'Grady. Already giving them raucous, ripping up the rule book, mischief making, calling it out, loving hell in heaven. Paul, what are we meant to do without you?" Amanda Holden said, "Woken up to this sad news. I loved Paul. He was brilliantly opinionated, searingly sharp and very funny. I loved our conversations. I can't quite believe it. Thoughts with Andre and their family." Read more here.
Trying to find a way over melted.